Okay, so we are in unit number 5. We are in section 2, piecewise functions. Now, it's exactly how it sounds. We are going to be graphing pieces of functions. And what we're going to have is what we refer to as constraints, or in other words, rules that go along with it. So let's take a look at problem number 1 here. We want to graph this function, this x minus 1, which is a line, only when x is less than 2. So here's what I'm going to encourage you to do. Because we have these constraints, they're like bumpers. They're like these imaginary walls. So our constraints are happening at 2. So I'm going to go and put a dotted line right through x equals 2. And what that lets me know is those are my bumpers. That's when I hit that, I've got to stop. So for example, the first one, x minus 1. Well, I'm going to go down to -1. We're going to graph like normal. I got a slope of 1, so I'm going to rise 1, run 1, rise 1, run 1. But here's the thing. I'm going to stop as soon as I hit that wall. And so if I do my slope going the other way, down 1 to the left, 1, down 1 to the left 1, all right, here we are. We're just do, and there we go. Notice there's no arrow on the other side, and that's because it hits the wall and it stops. Now, it is an inequality, so I see a less than symbol, so guess what we're going to put in there? Yeah, we're going to put an open circle there. So again, what it's saying is, listen, when we're less than 2, I want this visual. Now, when we're greater than or equal to 2, we want the line -2x. So we're still going to graph like normal, okay? But remember, I only want to graph when I'm on the right side of it. So use your imagination a little bit. Start at 0, 0. Okay. Slope is -2. Down 2 to the right 1. Down 2 to the right 1. There we go. It's an or equal to, so I know it's a shaded in circle. Keep going. Down 2 to the right 1. Down 2 to the right 1. And then I can go ahead, draw it in. That's it. All right. So on that line that's there where your constraint is at, that's where you're going to see open or shaded circles. So again, we're making graphs. Now, where are we increasing? Now, you've got to be careful here because don't let the arrows throw you off. Remember, increasing is when you're on a graph and you're going left to right. What's it doing? So as I go from the left side to the right side, we are going up. So over what intervals is the graph increasing? Well, from -infinity to 2. That's where it's increasing. Now, open circle that's there. So, yep, there we go. We're going to use our parentheses here. Over what intervals is the graph decreasing? Again, we go from left to right. So if I look from here to there, yes, we're going down. So from 2 to infinity, but a bracket because of the shaded circle, and we can't land on infinity, so you get the parentheses there. And where is it constant? Remember, it's constant. It means it's staying the same. So nowhere. You're going to see a horizontal line if it's a constant that's there. So again, increasing, all right, decreasing, and then constant that's there. All right, let's try another one here. All right. Ooh, this time we've got 3 constraints here. Okay, so let's look where our constraints are at. They are at 8 and -2. So we're going to go to 8, and again, dotted line. We're going to go to -2, and again, dotted line. There's our walls. So we're going to have stuff going on to the left, in between the walls, and then to the right of the walls as well. So when x is greater than 8, they want me to graph the function of x. Well, remember, that kind of looks like this. So here's the thing. We can go ahead and, try to figure out where we're going to be at. Like, am I going to be there? Am I going to be there? Like, I don't know where we're going to be at. Let's erase that out here. And what we can do actually is we can actually graph the line and just use our eraser. So those pen people out there, you're going to want to hold on a second. Pencil people, join me. Join me in this process here. So, yeah, intercepts at 0. Up 1 to the right 1, up 1 to the right 1. So if I go ahead and draw this on in, it's going to do that. Now, I didn't go to the left because I know it's when it's greater than 8. So the idea is greater than, so we're going to have an open circle on it, but I only want it where it's to the right of the 8. So reach for my eraser and simply erase everything that's to the left of it. Yeah. All right, I'm going to skip down to the bottom one. We're going to talk about that middle one. That's what we refer to as a constant. So let's just hold on there for a second. So yeah, now we're going to graph this negative 3 half x plus 2. So what that tells me is my y-intercept is 2. And again, pencil people out there, unite. Here we go. We're going to go up 2. And then down 3, 1, 2, 3, to the right 2, 1, 2. Down 3, 1, 2, 3, to the right 2. Now, you're like, well, wait a second. I want stuff that's less than negative 2. So I want the stuff that's all over here. So, okay, let's go up 3, 1, 2, 3, to the left 2. And again, if I drew the line, it would look something like this. But remember, I don't want the stuff to the right of the negative 2. I only want things that are less than or equal to negative 2. So if I reach for my eraser, that means I don't want you at all. So let's clean things up. It's an or equal to, so I want to make sure it's a nice, strong, shaded in circle. And then, yeah, let's get my arrow that's on the end. Okay, now let's get into the last part that's here. This says that when x is less than 2 or greater than 2 and less than or equal to 8. So when it's between the negative 2 and the 8, we want just the 4. Just the 4. So y equals 4. Y is a horizontal line going through 4. So that's going to be going right through here. Let's keep in mind when we get to the negative 2, it's just a less than symbol, which means open circle. And then when I get to the 8, we can see it's a less than or equal to. So we're going to shade it in. And there we go. You should start to notice that on those bumpers, those barriers, those lines, that's where the constraint shifts. And you've noticed a shaded, open, a shaded, open. That's there. And that's going to be the case because they're all functions. If they were both shaded, that means we'd have with inputs versus outputs. Again, wouldn't pass the vertical line test, all those types of good things. Okay, so let's see what they're asking us here. Ooh, increasing. Okay, so again, as we read from left to right, where are we going up? That's only over here on the far right side. So where are we increasing? Well, we would say something like when x is greater than 8. Again, just a greater than because of my open circle that's there. Where are we decreasing? Well, that's going to be this side over here because, again, as we read from left to right, we're going down the slide. So we would say negative infinity to 2. Okay, and it's a solid, so you get the bracket. Hey, listen, I don't know why I just did this x is greater than 8. If you were like, what are you doing that's there? I agree with you on what am I doing? Everything should be in interval notation that's there. Okay, so we're going from an 8 all the way out to infinity. Again, we are an open circle, so we've got parentheses that are there. Okay, and then where are we constants? Okay, well, constant, again, that's that horizontal line, and you can see right there at the top of the page. That's when we're going from negative 2 to a positive 8. I've got an open circle, so parentheses. I've got it shaded on my 8, so that's where my bracket's going to end up being at. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of it. You're just kind of graphing lines and erasing. If you've got a pencil, you're going to find it's much smoother. Those of you that are doing pen, a little bit more visualizing that's there, a little bit more kind of paying attention to things. Let's see what else we've got here. Okay, let's do, yeah, might as well do one more that's here. All right. Let's change it to you. Okay, so I can see my constraints are just at 7. So I'm going to go to 7. I'm going to put that dotted line that's in there. There's my bumper. X minus 3 when we're greater than 7. Okay, so down to negative 3. Okay, a slope of 1, rise 1, run 1, rise 1, run. So if I draw it, okay, but I only want where it's greater than 7. So that tells me an open circle here. And I'm going to reach for my eraser, and I only want that portion of it. Again, only want the graph when it's greater than 7. This one we want negative 1/2 x. Okay, so that means my y-intercept is at 0. Slope of negative 1/2, so down 1 to the right 2, down 1 to the right 2. So we're going to keep on this path until we hit the wall that's there, down 1 to the right 2, down. So yeah, okay, it kind of hits in the middle that's there. That's okay. It's an or equal to. I see you right there. So we're going to put a shaded in circle. And then if we kept the slope going, it would do, oh man, oh, there we go, something along those lines. So again, when x is less than or equal to 7, we're going to the left side. All right, so last batch of them there. Where are we increasing at? Well, we are increasing right over here on this far right side, because as we go left to right, the graph is going up. So that's going to be from 7 to infinity. We've got our open circle, so we're going to be parentheses here. Decreasing, well, again, we see we're kind of going down the slide here. Again, it's always left to right. We're going from negative infinity to 7. We've got our bracket that's there. All right, parentheses there. And over which intervals is the graph constant? Well, you could even give me an empty set symbol thing because there's nowhere, nothing. There's nowhere. It's the horizontal line that's there. All right, here we go, people. That's all that we got here for you today. Piecewise functions. All right, you are graphing just pieces of each function based on the rules.